How's it going, Nilufar?
Good.
Good.
How's that your friend?
Good. Phenomenon of whether you call it chatbot or WhatsApp bot or SMS bot, really, I think with the new normal that we got from April, I think people sort of put that on the behind their attention span. But with
Right.
the elections in the US this year and all the campaigns that we see, we are really seeing self-service text bot and chatbot really coming to the fore. So
Right.
really excited to share and essentially just have a chat on what's going on, get some appreciate any questions from the audience. Feel free to ask a question at any point. So delving right in, I mean, there's just something about web spiders. Just a few of the customers that are using us for our services around AI, around NLP, around digital. And today we'll talk about essentially chatbots, but more specifically, we talk about chatbots around text. And Nilufar, I'd love to understand from you. Sorry, I have to put the sales slide. So this is just a location span. Today we're expecting people more from the Asia region based on the time. And yes, sales perspective, let's get right in. Uh, so is your business or company textable? Nilufar, what I know you like this topic, but what do you imply by textable? What do you mean?
So basically, typically what we see in any sort of customer service that we provide is like, live chat. You're familiar with that, where you can have live chat or, call center where you can call up for any sort of help or something like that. But now, if you talk about SMS bot or this typically the term which you're using like textable, what it really means is um, can I get a support over an SMS as well? So let's say we can go to a live chat and we can talk to an agent for any kind of query. What if I could just pick up my phone and just type in a message and get help there as well? So text bot or SMS bot is nothing but a software tool that automatically responds and sends text message to the user who's communicating with the bot on SMS channel.
Okay.
So it's helps in creating interactive marketing channel. If you want to promote something, we get a lot of messages, right? Like a sale is going on, or any kind of promotion you want to do, or you're getting 20% off this weekend, or it's your birthday month, so just hop on to the store and you may get additional 20% discount. So all these activities related to marketing, as well as any sort of support that you would like to give, both can be done over this SMS channel. And the good thing about this is you don't need any additional installation or any software, nothing. It's just if you have a phone, even if it's a simple phone, not even a smartphone, so you can just simply text. Any phone has a capability of sending an SMS. So that's the best part, like anybody can use it, and you don't need any internet service also for that.
Right. But what about, countries like India where, as I understand, you cannot really respond back? I mean, you get these texts from alphanumeric characters, right? Like,
Yeah.
and then you really cannot respond back. I think that's to remove spam.
Mhm.
But then how do you solve the problem in places where you cannot have a two-way on chat, on SMS equivalent?
So there are two things which there are a couple of things which we can do. So let's say for India, if we cannot, you cannot respond back. I mean, like you cannot give a reply back. There is one thing, you can redirect them to another channel where they can have a back and forth communication. Let's say I send a promotional message, and in that I give a link of a chatbot or maybe a Facebook Messenger link, something like that, where they can have a two-way
So
conversation.
redirect to another channel. Okay, that's
Yes,
one
yes,
option.
yes,
Yeah,
yes.
so I think in India, for example, WhatsApp would be most popular, right?
Yep,
Yeah,
yes, very
I think
much, very
I
much.
think WhatsApp would be most popular from that perspective. So,
Yes,
but
because
there's
nowadays,
still text bots, yeah.
yeah,
But some,
nowadays you can see everything on, coming up on WhatsApp for any sort of, even if for collecting feedback and all. So it's becoming very, and user acceptance is also very much there, and people are very comfortable doing WhatsApp. So
but surprisingly, in some countries, including the United States, text is still more popular.
yes,
Okay,
yes,
that's a cultural difference. I don't know,
yeah,
but they're more popular, and and I guess, for example, sometimes WhatsApp needs uh, uh, your ability to be, for example, if you check into a hotel, or you've just given, you need explicit permission for WhatsApp to come back to you. Whereas, let's say if you've checked into a hotel and a hotel sends you a survey bot, sends you, okay, do you need any extra towels? Can I help you? Unless you're registered and you've agreed, you cannot do that. Whereas in text,
Right.
you could do that. So
Yes. Yes. Right. Right.
I think we are probably already there. But so let me ask you this now. I mean, what really are text bots? What do you really mean when you say?
So let's say you want to for a chatbot. When you go to a chatbot, you want some sort of assistance. You're looking for some sort of assistance. You're looking for some sort of information, or how do I go about it? So the same way, when you type it on a chatbot, it's SMS bot. What happens is you just type in a message. Like for in this example, you can see that I am looking for a pizza, or maybe I want to. I'm looking for some sort of information. So I can just open my SMS app in my phone, and I can just type in the question that I have. Let's say I'm going to it's very popular in events as well.
Right.
Let's say I'm going to a particular event and I'm not sure about where are the different things located.
So,
right?
but is that really two-way? Like, for example, we spoke about text bots being ubiquitous. So that's very easy, either WhatsApp or SMS is really ubiquitous. No tech, especially for SMS, there's no tech, and many countries you will find WhatsApp everywhere. So that's nearly universal. But really, my question is this just like, sometimes I'm disappointed when I see that, okay, it's like just one or two messages, or at the most what you get is option one, do this, option two, do this. It's just like it's very basic. So how do we really make it as if, with the use of AI, how can the other side, the robot, the AI engine, can really have a conversation rather than just being press one for this, press two for this, or type in three for this? Any
Yeah.
thoughts?
So with the latest advancements in the AI, it's not like a typical, where you can just give an option of like press 1, 2, 3. It's not like that. You can have open-ended queries, which by open-ended queries, I mean, you can just have like if you're asking a human, like, can I have a pizza, or do you have this particular product in your store? Something like that, which can be as specific as that. And the bot will not respond in a very traditional way of like, press 1 for this, press 2 for this. It will just give you the exact response that you're looking for. So yes, it can be conversational, and it's not like the traditional method of just saying 1, 2, 3, not like that.
So that's really the game changer here, right? So that
Right.
it's not just a simple link
Right.
or a directory. It's actually a conversation, and we've seen that with a lot of our customers, right? Like, for example, over 14 malls in the UK
Right.
and France, they are using our bot for an active conversation. I
Right.
think what I really find it funny is that even small talk gets
Yes.
responded.
Yes.
Yeah. So any thoughts on what kind of small talk have you
So
seen?
it's very common that we on the retail chatbot or the shopping center chatbot, which is more of like not a very serious kind. It's a very humorous bot, which can have a little bit of small talk also. So there are people like asking questions like
Right.
I am lonely, and the bot is suggesting, why don't you try some ice cream? And it gives the options of the ice cream parlor which are available in the mall
Okay.
itself.
Right.
So that ways it is like
So it's really conversational. It's just
right.
not a directory service.
Yeah,
That's amazing.
absolutely.
That's
Yeah.
amazing.
Okay, so I think next is why is it so popular with the Trump and Biden campaigns? Would you like to share some?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's really amazing. I mean, right now, as many of us know, it's the race to the next election is just hotting up. It's just you're down to the wire. Just a few weeks left. And if you see actually across the Trump campaign or the Biden campaigns, whether you go to their website or whether you see they're using text bots, as actively as possible. So
Right.
in fact, on their website, they're using it to raise money, to raise donation, to get information, and even to segregate by causes. So, for example, if you support, from a veteran perspective, or for example, causes related to women, or causes related to diversity, or causes related to any aspect, You put that and you send to them, and there's an active conversation going on. And
Oh,
and of course, uh, these are used by both parties simply because it's ubiquitous. you know
mm,
uh, Especially in the United States, it's not so homogeneous as, for example, India or Singapore, where everyone is on WhatsApp.
right.
You will find that, I mean, it's you just go, you hop onto a plane,
Mm,
maybe these days not much, but in the regular times, and
right.
if you look at people texting,
Right.
you will not, in India or Singapore or many in countries like Indonesia, you see a lot of WhatsApp going on. But over there, you just see all different kinds. You see a lot of Facebook Messenger sometimes, but
Right.
I'm surprised that iMessage or messaging or SMS is actually the number one by far.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
so they've relied on that, and I think that's probably the first time in the history of political campaigning that there is one tool that's available to almost every constituent, or every voter base, and that's SMS, or text as they call it
Right.
in
Right.
the United States.
Right.
So it's really popular. The fact that these are not just dumb channels, these are not just channels where you, you just send a message and you get a link or something.
Mhm.
It's a conversation back and forth.
Right. Right.
That's really key.
Right.
So, this is sort of a summary and maybe in examples of the kind of, uh, you know, to give a sense of how things work. Of course, fundraising is a big part of it. Feedback is a big part of it. Updating on issues is a big part of it. Getting the attention is a big part of it. And of course, texting is free to, or very very low cost. So it's really right up there. And
Right.
when you send a postal mail, when you send a email, you're not really sure about the immediacy of those things, right?
Right.
But this channel is absolutely immediate, right?
Right.
It's absolutely immediate, it's universal, and I think that's the reason why not only in these campaigns, but B2C companies or B2B companies, most, they are going towards and leaning towards this channel more and more. And
Right.
especially because it's not just a dumb channel of saying, okay, I received your message. It's a
Exactly.
conversation, because you don't want, those days when you have to call. Just imagine calling a support center, and you don't really want to call for simple things, right? You don't want to call for simple things and then wait, and then have a conversation. If imagine you bought anything and you could achieve a feedback or a change of order, or a request or more information simply by texting. It would be
Right.
so simple. And what amazing would be if it felt like as if a human responded.
Correct. Right.
So
Right.
you bought something and you said, you got something from, even, let's say, we retailer like Amazon, and
Mhm.
even to get something replaced with them is a hassle, because I have returned items so many times. But imagine, from a future of e-commerce, people talk about VR, AR, but the way we are seeing is that the future of e-commerce is in customer service and quick customer service.
Right.
So you when you talk about, okay, I want to return this, and what if you could just text and you got a response instantly?
Right.
That
Exactly.
yes, this is how you do it, confirm yes or no,
Hmm.
so and so forth. You check
Right.
into a hotel and you want room service. You just typed in, I need this, do you have it? And right away you get a response within a few seconds. And it's not just a link or go to the website. It's a real response. And
Right.
that's the
Right.
game changer. How AI makes simple things quickly, how it makes it faster. That's really the game changer.
Right.
So I'll slip it back to you now, Nilufar. Is that how's it? We have been speaking about it, but how's this different from a customer care chat? What do you see different here?
So the first thing which you will notice over here is, like, if you go to a typical customer care support, so even if it's on a live agent or chat or phone call, you have to wait. It's not like you get a response immediately. It's not instant response. So what happens with SMS bot or text bot is, like, you get the response immediately. Let's say I ask a question and the bot would immediately respond. So that is the first thing which you notice is it's a quick response, and it can support multiple languages also. It's not like just one language which the bot can support. You can train it in multilingual thing. And the other things, which is like it can handle many queries in a instantly. It's not like I have just 10 people who can respond to the customer queries in terms of chatbot or SMS bot. You can help or you can provide services to n number of customers at the same time. So these are the basic things which you can see. And also it updates, it provides instant update. Like I said, it provides instant update to the users, and it can be available for people who doesn't have a smartphone. So yeah, these are the couple of things, you can see the difference between like how it is different from the traditional ones. So yes.
Absolutely. And what I find amazing, Nilufar, is that these actually complete a transaction.
Right.
They are not just references, they complete a transaction, and often they complete the transaction by going back to your ERP or your CRM.
Correct.
So maybe you could talk very briefly about what we did for one of the donation campaigns for one of the clients.
Yeah.
Like how does it go and complete the transaction from a text to donate perspective?
Right. So what the use case was is basically you have a number where you can just text and text to donate whatever donation you want to give. So what happens the moment you text the bot responds back immediately with the payment link where you can go and complete your donation.
Right.
So that's one part of it. Now, once the payment is
done, sorry to interrupt you there, but what happens when, for example, a person does not know how to donate? So he just say, hey, what do I do? How do I go about? If he sends that SMS, then what happens?
So the bot responds back immediately with an answer where it helps the user. Like if you don't know how to donate, you can visit this link, just type in your name, message, and the donation amount. And yeah, so it's not like just one use case the bot can handle. It can handle n number of use case, and it can answer the lot of FAQs as well. So we can train the bot on the FAQs, the basic FAQs the user might ask. So that is one part of it. So once, let's say the donor has completed the transaction, so the transaction gets immediately, at the back end, it gets notified in their CRM, in their ERP, where you can see the transaction has been completed. And the second part to it is, let's say the donor does not complete the transaction immediately. So the bot can follow up with the user to complete the transaction.
Reminding him gently.
Yeah. So
it's reading the database, checking that it's been 2 days.
Yes.
And you promised a donation, but you've not actually donated. This is a gentle reminder to do that. And it follows a cadence, right? So you text and email the third time.
It could be on different channel as well. So initially, let's say I want to follow up with the donor on SMS channel. And after 2-3 times, I have the email address of the donor as well. And I would follow up on the email channel as well. So it can be on.
It could also be, for example, if you're a financial services company or a real estate company, and you're expecting a response or an action from your prospect or your client, that follow-up process can be done by the bot as well, right? Over there.
Right.
Amazing. And so this, another part is, okay, now what we are saying is that these are not dumb one way, they're engaged, but how do they learn? So for example, if I'm a law firm or I am a real estate firm or I am a manufacturer. Now, of course, the bot doesn't understand, what is related to my business, right? So how does the robot, is it like one time, or how does it keep growing in terms of the knowledge base and from its ability to be back and forth?
So initially, we feed the bot with a set of expressions or keywords which we train the bot initially, and that's how the bot is being launched. And eventually, what happens is that the bot learns on its own. Like there could be 100 ways of asking one question, right? So we are not, the bot is not trained on all the 100 examples. The bot is trained on just one example, and using that example, the bot learns that, okay, the next question that I'm getting is related to this particular use case. And that's where the AI is involved, where the bot learns on its own.
But what about custom knowledge base? So for example, if somebody wants to know, okay, I placed an order 3 days ago, what's the status, right? Now, usually if you're a consumer, you call somebody, you authenticate, you give a order reference or you give some details and they check and they let you know. So that's like a 10 to 30-minute process depending on, and if it's in, sometimes it takes hours when people don't pick up, right? So
Mm-hmm.
now what you're saying is that, let's say on a text bot, I simply text the business that, and they already have my number, so there's no authentication needed.
Mm-hmm.
I text that, okay, I placed an order yesterday, can you tell me the delivery time?
Right.
And what you're saying is that it can actually come back within a few seconds or
Correct.
less and say that this is the scheduled time. And then if you're looking for other options, then these are the options. But how does it know? Because this is not just understanding language. It
Mm-hmm.
has to go to my order management system
Right.
and get the data. So how does it know?
So that's how we do a backend integration also, where
Okay,
the bot is integrated with any of your backend CRM system or any
right,
system that you have, where the
right.
bot can go and query your system and get the information and give it back to the user.
Understood.
Yeah.
Understood. Okay, that's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
So okay, so we were actually speaking ahead
Yeah.
of the ahead of the time, but
Ahead of the slide.
yeah,
Yeah.
this is what we were talking about,
Right.
and then
Right.
the cadence part. So one thing that's amazing is that this is not a standalone system,
Mm-hmm.
and this is not just for fun, right? This is an entire business use case. It can be fun, like when we handle small talk, but this is like text text making your entire business textable. Whether it's an employee or whether it's a customer, without calling them, without visiting them, what you're saying is that I can text them in countries where you have one way, then you use WhatsApp, and it
Right.
can go back and forth, go to the CRMs and get me live actual data
Right.
with the authentication of my phone number.
Mm-hmm.
And then, of course, we're also talking about how it can do a follow-up process.
Right.
So
Right.
let's say I remember, Nilufar, this amazing thing. Once I think it was the travel insurance renewal.
Mm-hmm.
And, I think I wanted a change in that,
Mm-hmm.
and I submitted a change request to probably include more coverage or something like that. But then they sent me a confirmation, and I just forgot, because you just forget to confirm, and then I saw that they were sending me reminders on a regular cadence and very politely, say 2 days,
Right.
would you like, you made this request, would you like to convert, would you like to complete, and here's a quick link, just say yes and you're done. So that's the amazing part. It reduces friction, and I think at
Right.
the end of the day, when you reduce friction, you increase the volume, the velocity.
Mm-hmm.
Especially today in these times when you cannot expect a customer to walk up to a physical office or a branch,
Mm-hmm.
and you cannot expect everyone to be very, very savvy and go to a complex web-based structure. If they can simply message and
Correct.
get their job done, I think it's really amazing. So this
And
cadence plus the bot is amazing.
yeah, and one more thing which was really interesting is that you can also it's not just the bot talking. If you want to speak to a live agent, or you want to set up
Okay,
a meeting, so
okay,
that also can be done through the bot. So I'll
okay,
share an example of education sector bot where the bot responds and everything is fine, but at any point of time, if a student wants to speak to an education advisor, so they
nice.
can do so by scheduling an appointment with an advisor. So
Right
that
there.
can be
Okay.
done through the bot itself. Yeah.
Amazing, amazing.
Yeah.
This is like, for people, for consumers, for customers who've experienced the pain of getting good customer service,
Right.
uh, and for organizations that feel the pain of reaching out and scaling up, I think this is
Mhm.
amazing. I mean, as I said, even with some of the established e-commerce companies, and now with these times when you're ordering almost something every day, I
Right.
find it so hard to get customer service,
Correct.
because they have not just gone digital first, they have gone digital blank or digital only. So,
Mhm.
and somehow the buying process is easy, but the customer service
So,
process is
right.
not very easy,
Right.
especially some of the international brands.
Mhm.
So this is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
So these are some of the right. We are some of the use cases we're talking about. I mean,
Right.
how are we doing for time? Okay, so we are okay with time right now. Yeah, pick and choose. I'll pick something that pops up as an interesting use case, and I'll take one. And yeah,
Yeah. So I'll just take the text to donate use case over here, which I think the examples are also there where, let's say event is going on for fundraising for a cause, and the viewers are being asked to, text on this number to donate. So here in the example, you can see the donor is saying hi, and the bot, gives a very nice welcome message where it tells the user, like, please text us your donation amount, your name, and a gift message as an optional. And then the donor responds back with the donation amount and everything. And in the response, the bot gives the payment URL to complete the gift. And then the donor says, thank you. And the bot politely says anytime. So
wow, this anytime is amazing, because I can see that the others, this anytime comes automatically. Wow.
automatically.
So it understands that you said thank you,
Yes.
and
Yes.
this is better than a human conversation, right?
Right.
I think that's what, when you talk about this whole concept of singularity, which is this whole big, we have time, so probably let me tell a quick story to our viewers. And the story is that you might have heard about this Japanese investor, SoftBank, or Mayoshi Sen. He was the investor behind Yahoo Japan, and then he owns in the US. He used to own the Sprint telecom network. Then he invested in Uber, and in India as well in Ola, and I think many, including WeWork, for example. So he invests, like they typically invest in large amounts, 100 million, sort of scale.
Right.
And I was seeing this video where he raised uh, he raised a fund which was something like, not even generally VC funds are like, you know $200 million fund, $300 million fund,
Right.
and he wanted to raise $100 billion fund. Like,
Okay.
that's unheard of. That's like the collective fund of all the VCs in Silicon Valley combined, and probably
Right.
larger.
Hmm.
And I hope I don't have the numbers wrong, but yeah, something like that. So the story goes that he goes to the head of Saudi Arabia, and it's on the YouTube, where he says that he had a conversation of less than an hour, and he got a major commitment from them as an investor. So he was asked that, what exactly did you motivate somebody in less than an hour
Okay.
to pitch in $100 billion, or at least a large portion of that.
Okay.
And he just said that he used one word. He said singularity. He said in less than 30 years, machines would be able to have greater intelligence than humanity combined across most common disciplines.
Right.
And I think, of course, these are all vision, but if you bring it down to, say, customer service and customer engagement, what we are talking about, just imagine when you enter into a shop, or where you call a business, no matter what kind of business or a charity, whatever it is. When you speak to somebody, that person, what level of intelligence do you need for a machine to replicate that person's knowledge base? Not a lot, actually, to
Right.
be honest, because
Right.
often they also run from a script. Like,
Correct.
if you call an airline staff, or if you call a
Yes.
standard, they're also running from, okay, if this
You
happens
have
and
to
this.
train on that. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
why can't you train a machine on that?
Correct.
And this anytime is amazing. Actually, I didn't even know that. Do the clients know that anytime works?
Yes.
Oh wow, this is amazing. But
Yeah.
these small touches that make it human.
Yeah.
I think the speed at which AI or NLP can read, nowadays NLP can read an entire novel and then respond back. We were discussing about Squad, which is the Stanford
Right.
competition, on how good an algorithm can understand raw text, like
Right.
just reading Wikipedia and being able to respond back without additional training. I think that's amazing. This is a short story I wanted to share, but it's amazing that this is not just some of the WhatsApp bots are just like, okay, one for this, two for
Respond.
this.
Yeah.
This is a full
Right.
conversation.
Yes.
Amazing. And as we come to the, we are 30 minutes in. This is a short webinar. Now, as we discussed, Nilufar, that of course, text is big. For example, in the US, in India, it would be WhatsApp. In some countries, it would be Facebook Messenger. So, what does it take to extend, say, a text bot or an SMS bot to your website, where you can have the same experience, because some websites are so complicated, right? But what if you just chat and get the response there? Or for a really consumer millennial brand, the millennials would like to, when they're sending a Facebook message, you would like that to be responded via the AI system, and similarly WhatsApp. So what does it take to extend a text bot into these multiple channels?
So the good thing about this platform is you don't need to train the bot for each and every channel. The knowledge base is single, which can be used across any of the channel, not web, FB, WhatsApp, voice bot, any channel you talk about. You train the bot once, and that knowledge base can be shared to any of the channels. So extending it to any channel is just like enabling a feature. Basically, it's just a button click away. So for us, it's very simple, where we can extend it to any of the platform. And on the web, what we can do is there is the option of where you can customize the look and feel of the bot as per your existing website, so that you can match up your theme and everything. So, and Facebook,
so that was my question actually. Is it just simply having it another channel? Like, can different channels add additional benefits or additional flavor? Because, for example, definitely in text you are limited by, for example, you cannot have cards, right? You cannot have visual cues like you can have on Facebook or the web. So what are some of these things that you can do on other channels that add value based on those channels?
So on the web, you can have pictures, you can have video playing, YouTube video playings, on FB Messenger also. These are the additional things which you can have on these channels. SMS, you can have very short text. It cannot be a very lengthy text. However, on the other channel, you can have, let's say, for example, you give an option, like, okay, you're looking for restaurants, or you're looking for cafes, or you're looking for, in terms of shop, you can just give classifications, like, you're looking for menswear or women's wear. So these kind of options you can give on all the other channels, let's say web or FB Messenger. So these are the additional things which can be done, and apart from the videos and graphics which we are talking about.
Nice. So again, something really quick. What do we do? Web Spiders is a 2-decade strong company. We focus on digital transformation, and one of the areas we're really passionate about is automation of customer service and customer engagement. So Zoe, which is our lead product, is focused on that. The other thing is, of course, sales development. We talked about cadence. So this is amazing. I mean, on this, I think maybe, we worked with one of the largest event vendors in the US for the, many of their events where they upsell lead scanners. Maybe this is a good, could you just explain how cadence marketing on messaging, whether it's text or email, could be used for that purpose? But a quick overview for our guests to
So this particular use case where we had what we tried to do was basically they were a very large event-based organizing company where they sell lead scanners to the exhibitors. So how Cadence helped them was they used to
Could you just clarify what do you mean by selling lead scanners? I mean, for the
So let's say in a event, I am the exhibitor and I have a booth, and a lot of people would be coming to my booth, right? So if I have to manually note down each and every lead that is coming to my booth, it would be very difficult, right? So if I could just instantly have the business card and that is scanned and it goes to my CRM system.
So they rent out these scanners to them.
Correct.
They don't come free, is it? The organizers don't give it for free?
No. Yeah.
Please.
So before the event, so what they do, they sell up this, they want to market about this lead scanner to all the exhibitors. So how Zoe Cadence helped was to follow up with these exhibitors to buy the scanners. And it was a very consistent follow up where, you follow up with them. And the good thing was there was a high rate of, conversion where people end up buying those, the lead scanners and all before the event. So that's how the Zoe Cadence was used to follow up.
Amazing. So one is, what's the, one question is, how much time does it take, say, to deploy a text bot? What's the timeline are we looking at? Any views on that, Nilufar?
So it could be starting from 2 weeks to 4 weeks maximum.
Okay.
That's the timeline. Yeah. Yeah.
But then you're saying that the bot is constantly learning. So it's not that it's.
Yes.
But what
Yes.
about humans in the loop? I've heard that it's not just automatic learning, but also you need human supervision in the learning process.
So
How does
sometimes,
that play?
yeah, sometimes what happens, the bot might give, confidently wrong answer. So that is where at the back end, what we do is we constantly monitor the responses the bot is giving, and accordingly we train the bot to, rectify those mistakes, and accordingly we train it. So that's where, the human intervention is required to monitor how the bot is performing, or if there is any
Right.
deterioration in the performance, then we can fix that. Yeah.
So another popular question, just a second, is okay. So let me summarize this. So I think what's being asked is that what we're talking about is bot automation, but often things, it takes time for a complex query. So if somebody said, hey, I spoke to Nilufar 2 weeks ago, and then I had visited your branch, and
Mm-hmm.
this is what I need.
Mm-hmm.
This is not something that, for example, a complicated query with emotional overtones is not easy for a bot to
Yeah.
respond on day one. It can do that, and that's the singularity we are looking at. But I think some customers are saying that we need a form of co-piloting where
Correct.
where a human can respond. So
So
how
if
does that happen?
Yeah, so how does that work is, let's say the query, sometimes what happens is when we often see that, in all the customer service bot that we have across all the retail stores and all, they start up with a very long story, like, I had visited your store and someone helped me, something like that, and it's a very lengthy query which a human can only interpret. So in that case, the bot, what it does is it's hand over the query to a live agent. So the live agent at the back end is notified that this query has come and it requires your immediate attention. So the live agent can immediately, basically a human can immediately hop into the conversation and give the necessary response to the customer. So that is when it is working on a co-pilot mode, where the bot is not being able to handle very complex query, and it
Right,
hands over to a human counterpart.
right. That's an interesting point. And what I've also seen, Nilufar, is that in some situations,
Mm-hmm.
when when for regulatory reasons or some other reasons they cannot have a robot responding as first line, they're
Mm-hmm.
often supporting the first line.
Mm-hmm.
So you join, say, a large travel agency, and
Mm-hmm.
you're getting hundreds of calls daily,
Yeah.
or thousands of calls, or let's say a government agency where you're
Mm-hmm.
getting a lot of calls.
Mm-hmm.
Then the support L1 is actually talking to a robot to get
Correct.
a quick
Quick.
resolution.
Yes.
Yeah, instead of clicking on app options, they're
Right.
actually going and getting a quick response. So it's sometimes robots are also assisting humans,
Correct.
rather than replacing.
Right. Right.
In fact, with that, one final question I think we get very often is that, will this replace jobs? Will this take away jobs from, so let's say if there's a customer support team of 100 people or even 10 people, and if you're going to put such robots which can not only respond faster, but they can do, they don't need holidays, they don't need any coaching as such. They can work 24/7. They have no issues. They don't
Right.
need any offices per se. So if they can do such a great job, then will people lose their jobs? I mean, that's a question we get very often and seems to be popular today. So what's your call on that?
I think rather than thinking it of in that way, I feel that AI is kind of act as an assistant. Especially, it helps all the sales folks, so
Yeah,
so that they can do the more important work and let the mundane work be done by the bots. So that's how I look at it. Where you
yeah,
can get rid of those meticulous mundane work and let the bot do the initial warm up or everything, and then it comes to the human for doing the actual work, where they can focus on converting the sales and everything. Yeah. So rather than, thinking of it like it will replace the human jobs, I feel they will act as an assistant to the human counterpart. Yeah.
Understood. Understood. Yeah. So yeah, that's. I think the vision of Masa or the founder of SoftBank is nice, or the general collective, the whole singularity is a nice vision. It will take time. It will take a lot of time right now. But the fact is that right now AI is largely assistive in nature, so it will just improve the
Yes.
performance and make them more productive. And
Correct.
at the end of the day, jobs will evolve. The top 10 jobs that are there today did not exist 5 years ago. Um, uh, you know, at one point you had the telephone operators, right, who used to manually patch calls from
Correct.
one city to another. Now, of course, there are no jobs like that anymore, but then there's different jobs. So I think that's right now. There's nothing to worry about that. But I think the benefits of automating customer conversation is so huge, and the relative costs are so less that we
Right.
often wonder why everybody is not. People talk about big changes, but servicing your customers better, prospective and new and existing, is probably the biggest digital transformation you can do today. You know,
Right.
and especially in these times, your focus on your existing customers and doing a great job for them is paramount. So that's I think the key message from us. And with that, thanks so much to everybody who's logged in this afternoon. I hope you found some of it is useful. My email is right there, sid@webspiders.com. You can also go to our website, book a meeting, and we're happy to discuss any opportunities that you might have in how you can transform your digital engagement with your customers. So Nilufar, thanks for your time, and
Thank you so much.
Anirban and Somya, who are not visible right now, thank you for your assistance in setting this up. Have a great day ahead. Thank you so much.